On this day, we come together to celebrate the lives, legacies, and cherished memories of remarkable personalities we've recently lost. We take a moment to reflect on their incredible journeys and the inspiration they continue to give us. We'll also talk about WWE stars who are facing struggles that have drawn love, support, and prayers from millions of fans. Subscribe now and be part of our family that keeps their stories alive.
Joyce Grable, born on November 9, 1952, left an unforgettable mark on professional wrestling and became one of the pioneering figures who helped shape women's wrestling in the United States. Known for her grit, athleticism, and undeniable charisma, she carved out a career that not only earned her championships, but also respect in a sport where women often struggled to be taken seriously. Her name is forever tied to her longtime tag team partner, Wendy Richter. Together, the two were a force in the ring, creating a chemistry that thrilled audiences and set new standards for women's tag team wrestling. Grable's achievements included holding the NWA United States Women's Championship once and an impressive 6 reigns as NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion, 3 times with Richter and 3 with her other tag partner, Vicki Williams. But Joyce's journey wasn't just about titles, it was about legacy. Before her rise, the name Joyce Grable had already been used in wrestling by Joyce Fowler, who competed from 1963 to 1974, before retiring to raise her family. When Betty Wade Murphy entered the wrestling world, she chose to adopt the ring name Joyce Grable as a tribute. Inspired by the legendary Judy Grable, her idol and trainer, she honored the women who came before her, carrying their influence into a new era. In an industry dominated by men, Grable proved that women could command the ring with equal skill, passion, and toughness. She wasn't just wrestling opponents, she was battling stereotypes and pushing open doors for the generations who followed. Her matches were not only entertaining, but also a statement of what women were capable of achieving in professional wrestling. Joyce Grable passed away at the age of 70, leaving behind more than just a collection of titles and accolades. She left behind a legacy of courage, trailblazing spirit, and inspiration. Today, fans and wrestlers alike remember her as a beloved figure who helped elevate women's wrestling and showed that female athletes could thrive in the spotlight. Her influence continues to ripple through the sport, reminding us of the power of passion, dedication, and trailblazing pioneers like her. Mean Gene Okerlund, born on December 19, 1942, was more than just a wrestling personality. He was the voice and heartbeat of an era. For decades, his smooth delivery, quick wit, and unmistakable voice made him one of the most beloved figures in professional wrestling. To fans, wrestlers, and colleagues, Okerlund wasn't just a commentator. He was the man who gave wrestling its sense of credibility and larger-than-life magic. Before he became a fixture on television screens, Okerlund's career began in radio, where he developed the timing, presence, and charm that would later make him a household name. In the early 1970s, he joined the American Wrestling Association, AWA, and his natural charisma immediately set him apart. His sharp sense of humor, professionalism, and knack for putting wrestlers in the spotlight made him stand out. And it wasn't long before the WWF, now WWE, came calling. It was there that Mean Gene became a legend. Fans remember him backstage, microphone in hand, standing toe-to-toe with icons like Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, Ric Flair, and countless others. Okerlund had a rare gift. He could make the wildest promos feel real and the most eccentric characters seem larger than life. His ability to stay calm amid chaos, add just the right touch of humor, and still keep the story moving made him an irreplaceable part of wrestling's golden era. His catchphrases and reactions often became just as memorable as the wrestlers' words themselves. Lines like, "Let me tell you something, brother," or his classic eyebrow raises when things got heated, are etched into the memories of fans forever. Wrestlers adored him because he made them shine. Fans adored him because he felt like one of them, someone who loved the spectacle just as much as they did. Gene Okerlund passed away on January 2nd, 2019, leaving a void that can never truly be filled. His presence was more than background commentary. It was part of the fabric of professional wrestling itself. His legacy is one of respect, laughter, and unforgettable moments. To this day, when fans think of wrestling's golden age, the voice they hear in their minds is Mean Gene's. Silver King, born Cesar Cuauhtemoc Gonzalez Barón, grew up surrounded by the world of lucha libre. Wrestling wasn't just a career choice for him, it was part of his heritage. His father, the legendary Dr. Wagner, had already carved out a place in wrestling history, and Cesar was determined to follow in his footsteps. When he stepped into the ring under the name Silver King, with his gleaming silver mask and fearless spirit, fans quickly saw that he carried both talent and heart. From the start, Silver King stood out. He wasn't just flashy. He was a skilled technician who combined sharp grappling with the high-flying style that makes lucha libre so beloved. In Mexico, he formed a powerful tag team with El Texano, and together they became one of the most exciting duos of their time. Their chemistry was undeniable, their matches full of fast-paced energy and teamwork that left audiences on their feet. But Silver King's reach extended far beyond Mexico. His talent caught the eye of major international promotions, leading him to World Championship Wrestling, WCW, in the United States. There, he shared the spotlight with some of the biggest stars in the world, proving that lucha libre's artistry belonged on a global stage. Outside the ring, Silver King's charisma opened new doors. He appeared in films and television, most memorably in the 2006 comedy Nacho Libre alongside Jack Black, where he played the villainous Ramses. That role gave fans a glimpse of his larger-than-life personality, cementing him as more than just a wrestler. He was an entertainer. Tragically, Silver King's life ended in the very place where he felt most alive: the wrestling ring. On May 11, 2019, during a match in London, he suffered a heart attack and passed away at just 51 years old. His sudden loss sent shockwaves through the wrestling community. Even in death, Silver King's legacy endures. He is remembered not only as a gifted luchador, but also as a performer who gave everything to his craft. His story is both inspiring and bittersweet, a reminder of the joy wrestlers bring to fans and the risks they take to do so. Tim White, born on March 25, 1954, left behind a legacy in professional wrestling that went far beyond the matches he officiated. Passing away at the age of 68, White is remembered as more than just a referee. He was a mentor, a storyteller, and a beloved figure in the WWE family. White's journey into wrestling began in the 1970s, a time when the industry was rapidly growing and transforming. He quickly proved himself to be dedicated and reliable, qualities that would define his career for decades. His rise in the World Wrestling Federation, now WWE, placed him in the middle of some of the most iconic matches in history, standing shoulder to shoulder with legends and ensuring that the biggest moments in the ring unfolded smoothly. For fans, his presence in the squared circle became familiar and reassuring, while for wrestlers, he was someone they could always trust. But Tim White's impact wasn't confined to refereeing. Behind the curtain, he played an important role as a producer, helping shape storylines and guiding talent. His wealth of knowledge and understanding of the business made him a natural mentor. Many young wrestlers leaned on his advice, not just about performing, but about navigating the pressures of life in the wrestling world. Perhaps one of the most touching chapters of White's story was his close friendship with Andre the Giant. More than just colleagues, the two shared a bond that highlighted White's loyalty and warmth. Their friendship often shone through in storylines, but it was the genuine connection they had away from the spotlight that truly defined it. When Tim White passed away, tributes poured in from wrestlers, colleagues, and fans alike. He wasn't only remembered for the matches he called or the shows he helped produce, but for his kindness, humor, and unwavering dedication to others. His influence continues to live on in the people he inspired, whether they are stepping into the ring, calling a match, or working behind the scenes. Tim White's life was one of service to the wrestling industry, and his legacy stands as a reminder of what it means to give your heart to a passion and to the people around you. Darren Drozdov, better known to wrestling fans as Droz, was born on April 7, 1969, in Mays Landing, New Jersey. A gifted athlete from the start, he first made his name on the football field. At the University of Maryland, he stood out as a tough, relentless defensive lineman, which earned him opportunities in the NFL. He played for teams like the Denver Broncos, New York Jets, and Philadelphia Eagles. During this time, he became somewhat of a legend for his unusual ability to vomit on command, a quirk that earned him the nickname Puke, and later made its way into the WWE documentary Beyond the Mat. By the late 1990s, Droz found his way into the world of professional wrestling. In 1998, he joined WWE during the height of the edgy Attitude Era. With his tattoos, piercings, and mohawk, he fit the rebellious look of the time perfectly. WWE introduced him as part of the Legion of Doom alongside Hawk and Animal, and soon after, Droz began carving out his own space in the ring. Fans saw in him a performer with charisma, toughness, and plenty of potential. But in October 1999, tragedy struck. During a match against D'Lo Brown at a SmackDown taping, a move went wrong, and Droz landed awkwardly. The accident caused a devastating neck injury that left him paralyzed from the neck down. Just like that, his wrestling career was over. What could have been the end of his story became instead a powerful testament to his character. Droz faced life after his injury with incredible courage and a positive outlook that inspired both fans and fellow wrestlers. He stayed connected to WWE, writing columns for their website and making occasional appearances, proving that his spirit could not be broken. On June 30, 2023, Droz passed away at the age of 54. The wrestling community remembered him not just as an athlete whose career was cut short, but as a man who embodied resilience, strength, and hope in the face of unimaginable adversity. His legacy lives on as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, perseverance and positivity can leave a lasting mark. Jacob Fatu was born on April 18, 1992, in California, into one of the most storied dynasties in the history of professional wrestling, the legendary Anoa'i family. From the very beginning, his life was surrounded by the sights and sounds of the ring, a childhood where family gatherings often doubled as strategy sessions for some of the greatest names to ever lace a pair of boots. His father, Sam Fatu, was known to WWE fans as the Tonga Kid, a fiery and innovative performer who carved his own niche during wrestling's booming years. His uncles, Rikishi and the late Umaga, became household names in the WWE, carrying forward the proud Samoan tradition of combining raw strength with an unmatched presence inside the squared circle. Beyond his immediate family, Jacob's bloodline connected him to Roman Reigns, the Usos, and even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, making him part of a family tree that has consistently shaped the direction of wrestling for decades. Yet, while it might appear from the outside that his path into wrestling was inevitable, Jacob's journey was not a smooth or predetermined one. Like many young men growing up in environments shadowed by both greatness and expectation, he wrestled with personal challenges, doubts, and detours before embracing the destiny that seemed to call him. His early life was marked by a raw athleticism and a restless energy that needed direction, and while the world around him was steeped in wrestling tradition, it took time for Jacob to find the balance between his heritage and his own personal identity. Eventually, through persistence and self-discovery, he leaned into the ring not only as a career, but as the platform where he could express his truest self: ferocious, proud, and unrelenting. The independent circuit and MLW dominance. Jacob Fatu's first true steps into professional wrestling came on the independent circuit, where he quickly developed a reputation as someone who could defy the expectations attached to his large frame. Standing at 6 feet 2 inches and weighing well over 280 pounds, Fatu didn't move like the stereotypical heavyweight. Instead, he carried himself with an agility that shocked both audiences and opponents alike. His arsenal was a blend of thunderous power slams, devastating strikes, and, most memorably, his moonsault, an acrobatic maneuver usually reserved for cruiserweights, yet executed with terrifying precision by a man of his size. These performances quickly made him a standout attraction wherever he appeared, but it was in Major League Wrestling, MLW, that he truly made his mark. Fatu debuted with MLW in 2019, and from that point forward, he became one of the company's most dominant stars. His alignment with the villainous Contra unit stable gave him a platform to showcase not only his physicality, but also his character work, portraying an almost mercenary-like enforcer who seemed unstoppable in the ring. The partnership worked, and soon Fatu was holding the MLW World Heavyweight Championship, embarking on a reign that would redefine his career. During this time, he defended his title against top-tier competitors like Tom Lawler and Alexander Hammerstone, delivering matches that highlighted both his resilience and his ability to thrive under pressure. His lengthy title reign was not just about dominance, but about storytelling, showing fans that he was more than just a product of his family name. He was a legitimate main eventer who could carry a promotion on his back. MLW became the perfect proving ground, sharpening his in-ring skills, developing his character, and allowing him to grow into the performer that WWE would soon covet. For many fans, those years in MLW weren't just a prelude, but a statement. Jacob Fatu was carving out his legacy, brick by brick, in a world that demanded both toughness and individuality. Arrival in WWE and joining the bloodline. By the time 2024 arrived, Jacob Fatu's stock was undeniable, and it was only a matter of time before the largest wrestling company in the world came calling. WWE signed him to the SmackDown brand, and his arrival was met with anticipation that few newcomers enjoy. Fans were not just curious about his in-ring style, but about the family storyline that seemed almost too perfect to ignore. WWE had built one of its most powerful factions in history with the Bloodline, a group centered around Roman Reigns and his cousins, the Usos, who had dominated the company's main event scene for years. Jacob's inclusion was a natural fit, and when he stepped into the WWE ring for the first time as part of the faction, the audience understood immediately that the family's grip on the industry had just tightened. His presence added an unpredictable edge to the Bloodline, amplifying their aura of dominance. In his debut matches, Jacob showcased why he had been so sought after, seamlessly blending into WWE's style while still keeping the flair and intensity that had made him a force in MLW. His power bombs rattled the ring, his super kicks landed with bone-crushing impact, and his moonsaults left fans gasping at the improbable athleticism of such a massive competitor. His seamless integration into the faction's ongoing narrative also allowed WWE to expand their storytelling, giving the bloodline yet another layer of intimidation. For Jacob, it was more than just joining a faction. It was a continuation of a family legacy, one that he carried not just as a performer, but as a proud representative of a heritage that has always thrived under the brightest lights. Health concerns and the injury scare. Like many wrestlers who push their bodies beyond the limits of what most consider humanly possible, Jacob Fatu has not been immune to health scares. A particularly notable incident came during a SmackDown match when he attempted one of his signature high-flying maneuvers, a moonsault on CM Punk. The execution looked flawless in mid-air, but ended in a frightening landing that immediately raised concern among both fans and WWE officials. Commentators, trainers, and even wrestlers backstage reportedly feared the worst, with whispers circulating that Jacob might have sustained a severe injury. In the world of wrestling, where moments of awe can instantly turn into moments of alarm, this incident became a trending topic online within minutes. Rumors ran wild, with some outlets claiming he had broken ribs, others suggesting a concussion, and a few going as far as to speculate about long-term consequences that might jeopardize his career. However, as days passed and reliable updates trickled in, the truth became clearer. Corey Brennan of Fightful reported that while the landing was indeed awkward and did cause discomfort, Jacob had avoided serious damage. WWE's medical team conducted evaluations, and while he was closely monitored, he remained medically cleared to compete. That reality stood in stark contrast to the exaggerated rumors circulating online, and for fans, it was a relief. Still, the scare highlighted just how fragile a wrestler's career can be. For Jacob, it underscored the risks he takes every time he steps into the ring. Risks amplified by his willingness to perform high-risk maneuvers that most heavyweights would avoid. Though he escaped this incident relatively unscathed, it was a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change, and how closely the line between dominance and disaster can be drawn in professional wrestling. Battling misinformation and social media rumors. In today's digital age, where every clip, every photo, and every rumor can spread across the globe in seconds, wrestlers like Jacob Fatu face a constant challenge not only in the ring, but in managing their public image. Following the moonsault scare, misinformation spread like wildfire on social media, with unverified accounts posting clickbait headlines about career-ending injuries or severe setbacks. Some platforms exaggerated the situation, claiming Jacob's run in WWE was already in jeopardy. Others, without evidence, tied the incident to past health problems in his family, fueling narratives that had little basis, in fact. While these rumors might generate engagement online, they also create unnecessary anxiety for fans and additional pressure for wrestlers, who often must navigate the balance between transparency and privacy. For Jacob, the spread of misinformation was frustrating but also clarifying. WWE officials quickly stepped in to set the record straight, issuing statements that calmed the storm and reassured fans of his continued presence on SmackDown. Jacob himself, through interviews and appearances, made it clear that while the scare was real, he was fine and ready to continue. What stood out in this moment was not just the rumor mill, but Jacob's resilience in facing it. He showed the same determination off the mat as he did in the ring, refusing to let false stories define his narrative. Instead, he leaned on honesty, his team's updates, and his performances to remind people that he was still very much a force to be reckoned with. Financial challenges behind the spotlight. While much of the focus on Jacob Fatu centers on his in-ring power and his alignment with the bloodline, life outside the spotlight hasn't always been easy. Like many wrestlers who spent years building their careers on the independent circuit before landing in WWE, Jacob faced financial instability during his climb. Independent wrestling often doesn't come with the security of big contracts, leaving performers to juggle travel costs, medical expenses, and the uncertainty of inconsistent bookings. For Jacob, the years prior to WWE were as much about survival as they were about building a name. Reports from those close to him have hinted that there were periods when financial struggles weighed heavily, with family obligations adding to the pressure. Even after joining WWE, the adjustment to the demands of larger schedules and maintaining a lifestyle that matched his growing stardom presented challenges. Unlike some of his more established cousins who entered WWE earlier and secured lucrative contracts, Jacob's journey required persistence through leaner times. These struggles, however, shaped his character and resilience. They gave him a grounded perspective that shines through in interviews and appearances, where he often credits his family and his heritage for keeping him focused. Now, with WWE's backing, Jacob is in a more stable position financially, but the memory of those difficult years remains part of his story. They serve as a reminder that behind every superstar's rise is often a history of sacrifice, setbacks, and a determination to push through. For Jacob, those struggles have only added to his authenticity, making his success feel earned rather than handed down. Looking ahead, the future of Jacob Fatu in WWE. As Jacob Fatu continues his WWE run, the possibilities for his future seem limitless. With the bloodline still a dominant faction and ongoing storylines that continue to captivate audiences, Fatu's role within the group gives him both security and opportunity. He has the potential to pursue championships, elevate new rivalries, and eventually carve out his own identity beyond the faction. Fans have already begun speculating about dream matches against top stars like Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Gunther, battles that would test his style against some of WWE's most versatile performers. At the same time, his connection to Roman Reigns provides storytelling depth that WWE has always excelled at exploring. Whether as a loyal enforcer, a breakout singles star, or even a potential rival within his own family, Jacob's path is wide open. His future will likely be marked by continued success, but also by the same challenges that have defined his career so far. Health risks from his daring style, the ever-present scrutiny of social media, and the demands of carrying a famous legacy. Yet, if his past is any indication, Jacob Fatu will face the future the same way he has faced everything else, with strength, determination, and an unyielding will to rise. Conclusion: a legacy still being written. Jacob Fatu's story is far from complete, but already it reads like a testament to what it means to carry both the weight of heritage and the burden of personal struggle. From his early days growing up in the shadow of wrestling legends, through his rise in MLW, to his current role in WWE's Bloodline, he has proven himself not just as a performer, but as a survivor. His health scares remind us of the risks wrestlers take to entertain, while his financial struggles remind us of the sacrifices made long before the bright lights of WWE. Yet, through it all, he has remained unshaken, a force of power and resilience whose presence commands respect. As he continues to carve out his legacy, Jacob Fatu embodies the essence of what wrestling fans admire most: strength in the face of adversity, heart in the face of doubt, and dominance in the face of competition. His journey is still unfolding, And with every match, every storyline, and every challenge, Jacob Fatu is writing a legacy that will stand tall in the annals of professional wrestling.